Have you heard about the shining idol of Babylon? What secrets lie behind this ancient symbol? A statue that is not just a symbol of power, but also holds mysterious legends. This shining idol once stood at the heart of Babylon, but what was its true meaning? A symbol of power or a test of faith? Let's uncover the story behind it. Don't go away, because this secret will change how you view ancient Babylon. Babylon, one of the greatest ancient civilizations, was a center of power and culture thousands of years ago. King Nebuchadnezzar II, one of Babylon's most powerful rulers, ordered the construction of a shining idol to assert his absolute power. This statue, nearly 30 meters tall and covered in shining gold, became the center of worship in Babylon. Among the crowd, 3 men dared to defy the king's command. They refused to bow before the shining idol. Their punishment was the blazing furnace, a life or death test of their faith. But as they entered the furnace, a miracle happened. They were not burned, and a 4th figure appeared beside them. King Nebuchadnezzar, who ordered their punishment, was astonished to see them unharmed and recognized the power of the Lord. This story is not just about a statue, but about unwavering faith and God's protection. The shining idol of Babylon became merely a symbol of failure before the true power of the Lord. The shining idol of Babylon was not only an architectural marvel, but also a symbol of King Nebuchadnezzar's supreme authority. According to historians, this statue was built to solidify Nebuchadnezzar's rule and enforce the obedience of his people. Whenever the music played, everyone was required to bow before the statue. It was not just a command, but a test of loyalty. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow. They chose to stand firm in their faith in the Lord. King Nebuchadnezzar, furious at their defiance, summoned the 3 men before him. The king warned that they would be thrown into the furnace if they did not bow to the statue. But the 3 men still refused. They replied, "The God we worship can save us. But even if he does not, we will not worship your God." King Nebuchadnezzar, angrier than ever, ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter and threw them in. The flames burned so fiercely that even the guards near the furnace were killed while throwing the 3 men in. But a miracle occurred. The 3 men stood in the flames, unharmed and untouched. And in the furnace, a 4th figure appeared, shining brightly and majestic like a son of the gods. But the statue was not just a work of art. It was also a spiritual test for the people of Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar couldn't believe his eyes. He saw not 3 but 4 men in the furnace, and none of them were harmed. The king immediately ordered the furnace stopped and called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego out. They walked out without any burns or even the smell of smoke, leaving the crowd in awe. King Nebuchadnezzar, moved by the miracle, declared that no God but the Lord could do this. The people of Babylon, who once bowed to the shining idol, now acknowledged the true power of the Lord. Those who stayed faithful proved that God's power surpasses all earthly authority. The story of Babylon's furnace is not just a tale of miracles, but a reminder of loyalty and faith in God. Thousands of years later, the story continues to amaze, challenging researchers about history and faith. The shining idol may have been forgotten, but faith in the Lord never will be. As the 3 men entered the furnace, the flames burned so fiercely that no one could stand near. The extreme heat burned the guards, rendering them unable to complete their task. But in the midst of the flames, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm, unharmed. A 4th figure appeared, majestic and radiant, astonishing all who witnessed it. When King Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of 3, he saw 4 men. He said, "Didn't we throw 3 men into the fire? But I see 4 men, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." The 4th figure appeared like an angel of protection, and the 3 men were completely unharmed. Nebuchadnezzar, unable to explain this miracle, ordered the furnace to be stopped and the men brought out. The 3 men walked out without burns, without even the smell of smoke, proving the power of the Lord. The people of Babylon, who once worshipped the idol, now recognize the true power of the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar said, "No other god can save in this way." The shining idol, once a symbol of Babylon's power, now stood as a lifeless object before the power of the Lord. King Nebuchadnezzar decreed that anyone who spoke against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be punished. The three men thanked the Lord for protecting them, proving that He is the only God worthy of worship. This story is not just about a statue, but a lesson about strong faith and loyalty to the Lord. Thousands of years later, this story continues to inspire the world, a reminder that strong faith can overcome any adversity. Today, the story of Babylon's furnace still echoes, reminding us that God is always present in every trial. Let this story remind us that with faith in the Lord, nothing is impossible. The shining idol may have been forgotten, but the power of the Lord endures forever. No matter how great the challenge, the flame of faith always burns bright. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is not just a tale of the past, but a lesson for the present and the future. God not only saved them from the flames, but also proved that He is always with those who put their trust in Him. This story is a reminder that the Lord has power over all, and worship belongs only to Him. The story of Babylon is proof that sincere faith can change the world. Ancient Babylon may have fallen, but the legacy of faith it left behind endures to this day. Let the story of Babylon's furnace encourage you to hold on to your faith in every circumstance. In the end, the light of faith always triumphs over the darkness of doubt and fear. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego not only survived but also proved that their faith in the Lord never wavered. Nebuchadnezzar, after witnessing the miracle, declared, "There is no God like their Lord." The story of Babylon's furnace reminds us that with the Lord, nothing is impossible. After the miracle in the furnace, the people of Babylon realized that only the Lord was worthy of worship. Nebuchadnezzar ordered the destruction of false altars and declared that the Lord was the most powerful. The shining idol, once the center of worship, was now abandoned and forgotten. The shining idol, once the center of Babylonian power, now stood as an empty symbol. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego offered their gratitude to the Lord for saving them from the flames. They were not just survivors, but living testimonies of the Lord's power and faithfulness. The miracle in the furnace quickly became a story passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of faith. Though Babylon remained a mighty city, faith in the Lord left a profound mark on its people. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego became a symbol of unwavering faith. The message of the furnace is proof that even in the most dangerous circumstances, God protects those who trust in Him. Though Babylon has fallen with time, the legacy of faith in the Lord endures forever. The flame of faith, no matter how small, is strong enough to overcome any trial. This story is not just from the past, but is also a reminder for us today. Hold on to faith in every circumstance. When facing trials, always remember that the Lord is with you. The story of Babylon's furnace reminds us that no matter how fierce the fire, God's power is greater. The shining idol is now only a fragment of history, while faith in the Lord continues to endure. This story is proof that faith and loyalty always bring victory. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we are called to stand firm in faith and live for God. They walked out of the flames unscathed, proving that faith in the Lord has boundless power. The story not only changed the fate of three men, but also transformed an entire kingdom. Trials will pass, but the legacy of faith will last forever. Let the story of Babylon's furnace encourage us to live with faith, courage, and hope. Those who stay faithful to God are always blessed and protected. This story reminds us that faith is always the light that guides us in the darkness. The miracle in the furnace lives on in the hearts and faith of generations. The shining idol may have vanished, but the power of the Lord never fades. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remains alive, reminding us that with God, nothing is impossible. Babylon, with all its might and power, has faded with time, but the lesson of faith endures forever. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego proves that God always walks with those who trust in Him. The flame of faith burned not only in Babylon's furnace, but also in the hearts of believers throughout generations. This story reminds us that no matter how great the trial, God is always the source of strength and hope. Today, the story of Babylon's furnace is a call for us to live with faith and loyalty. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, stand firm in trials and let faith guide your way. Even in the darkest moments, the flame of faith is strong enough to light the way. The shining idol, once a symbol of power, is now a relic of history. While the Lord's power remains eternal, the message from Babylon is not just for the past, but a reminder that faith always brings victory. Let the story of Babylon's furnace inspire you to hold on to faith, even when facing the greatest trials. God never abandons those who put their trust in Him. This has been proven through all ages. Let the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remind us that with God, nothing is impossible. Babylon's furnace may have gone out, but the flame of faith still burns bright in the hearts of those who love the Lord. Their actions not only saved themselves, but also inspired a generation about the power of faith. From the ruins of Babylon, the story of faith continues to live on. Let this story inspire us to live with loyalty, faith, and love for the Lord. Always remember that, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you are never alone. God is always with you. The story of Babylon's furnace is a powerful testament to faith overcoming all trials. The flame of faith will always light the way, no matter how dark the world may be. Their faith in the Lord not only changed their fate, but also transformed the world around them. Let this story inspire you to live a life full of faith and hope. The story of Babylon's furnace will forever stand as a testament to the greatness of the Lord. And now it's our turn to continue this story, writing our own journey of faith. Remember, faith is the light that guides in the dark and the strength to overcome all challenges. Though Babylon's fire has faded, the flame of faith will never die. This story reminds us that with the Lord, nothing is impossible. Do you love meaningful Bible stories? Top 7 Bible Stories channel will bring you inspiration and peace every day. Don't forget to like and share your thoughts in the comments section. Your sharing is the motivation for us to bring more stories. Top 7 Bible Stories. Good stories, beautiful meanings.